We're live on live stream. Welcome everyone
I can't hear them now. It's on the speaker.
to the 60th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And today is a special day because we're broadcasting. Mr. Keshe will be broadcasting from the official building of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and today we'll have our regular knowledge seekers workshop and hear from a couple of other knowledge seekers, such as Luca with some of his designs. And just a second here, mute this. Okay, so I'm going to start the workshop with the 5-minute promotional video of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute learning institution. So let's begin with that.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more? Much more. The Keshe Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Moran Keshe centers upon the use and control of magnetico-gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Keshe Foundation is proud to unveil the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. Keshe Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth. This is an understanding of how everything works together in harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within their respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Keshe Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanity's participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, that was the promotional video for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And today we're going to hear from Luca, who has an interesting design for a master plasma reactor, as well as a plasma battery that he'd like to show and demonstrate. But first, we'd like to hear from Mr. Keshe and see what he has to say for today. Mr. Keshe, are you available there? Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Keshe, can you hear me? Are you ready to begin?
Yeah, I think you're muted on your headphones.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yep. Okay, now we're getting too many things at the same time. Good morning, good evening, whatever time you see and watch us as usual. I hope you welcome us to your home and your offices and wherever you watch and hear. In the car, and God knows wherever I hear people listening to this program whenever they have time. And somebody told me I'm the lullaby they go to sleep with every night. So I hope it'll be a sweet dream. The fact is that we have launched the ultimate goal of the Keshe Foundation to teach worldwide. And in the coming weeks, if the things goes correctly, we will teach freely worldwide, and all equipments and teaching facilities of the Keshe Foundation will be made in the coming months freely available, which means whatever we do in the new structure will be taught that the limit of funding will go out of the way. This meaning that if you want to learn, you can tune in anytime, anywhere in the world. These facilities are getting made available for us by certain governments, and if they keep to their word, all teachings, laboratory, and all the equipments made up to date will be online free. We'll let you know as it comes and as this matters proceed and progress. One of the problems we had up to now, as I always said, it was that the Keshe Foundation was a one-man. Now, as an institute, has achieved a different point of standards for worldwide as our teaching in past 3 days, even though there's been some broken pieces in between, has proven that we are ready to release technology worldwide on an equal basis to all nations and nationalities. So once we reach and achieve this goal, We will announce the free teaching worldwide of the Keshe Foundation on a daily basis. And then all our books and all our downloads will become free. You just pay for the postage and packaging. And most of the medical equipment we will produce is on a donation basis. So you pay as you like, as a minimum standard to cover the cost. You're wondering with the puzzle. The projector. Okay, you can have the projector. If you listen to the Keshe Foundation health section, to this effect of what we just announced, the first stage of the worldwide trials of the health application of the Keshe Foundation starts in June. And the first section which we would like to concentrate on is the what we call the problem with cancer. We announced that we will accept 100 cases from around the world, from different races, colors, and even ethical backgrounds, that we see that this new technology does not have any of these barriers to itself, that it can help everyone in the same place, in the same way. So if you suffer from cancer, or you know somebody who's suffering from cancer, we only accept 100 initial cases. These are all as part of just what I announced, will be accepted on a free basis, which means up to now, whatever you had from the Keshe Foundation Health usually was on a donation or by contribution. For these 100 cases, the Keshe Foundation supports the financial support of it, and we accept 100 cancer cases around the world. For us to be able to test the knowledge of the foundation on the health section, for the space technology, that in the space we can reach man without them physically being with us, that we can reverse different kind of diseases. Cancer is one of the best cases to start with because it's different and is random, and each condition is totally and absolutely different from the other. So in the space, as we come across different diseases, cancer is a good experience for us to see how we can reach it. For you to be able to reach us, that we can consider your case of the cancer or your loved ones or your friend or whatever, you send the request to cancer@spaceshipinstitute.org. We requested initially to send it to the health, but now as we decide different diseases and different problems, we are separating case by case that is easy to monitor. So from now on, if you want to consider, or you already have sent a case to the Health at Keshe Foundation, resend it to cancer@spaceshipinstitute.org. On the other hand, if you are a medical doctor, you are part of the health organization of the government, be it FDA, be it British Health National, or European or the Chinese health groups, and you're a doctor, would you like to bring patients on, or you would like to monitor the progress that in the future you can use the technology, please send your request. We credit check all the doctors. We are very strict about this. Doctors at the Spaceship Institute. This is very important. If you are a doctor and you want to monitor the cases of cancers which we run, and we check your credential, and if you are a credible and reliable doctor who are there to support your patients, send your request to be the monitoring team or bringing patients on to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. This way, worldwide institutes, health authorities, and doctors can monitor the progress, the pitfalls, the successes, and what you see needs to be changed or added to be more successful in achieving health in space. This way, all nationalities learn at the same time, and as we are achieving and we are targeting to one nation, one planet, this way we all work together as one group, as one mankind, into space as one team. So it's the first time this is as part of what we call one nation, one planet, and we make one nation without the heads of states. And this is the first step. Your life depends on it. Your doctors, you can contact us. We put you, and this progress will be made that every doctor can monitor every case which is considered. So we do not allocate doctors to patients. You can all monitor every single patient as doctors. Facilities can be made in the background by our people that you will be given a special access, and then if you might see something we don't see or the other doctors see, and we can bring it in, or even if you're a pharmaceutical, join us to monitor it. Maybe you can use it to keep the employment at your offices once some new present medicine or other ways of defeating cancer becomes obsolete by the use of this technology. At least you can support your own people and your employment and the profit for your companies. But at the same time, Keshe Foundation team in China will proceed with manufacturing of any systems which we release. So we are not in competition. We make sure we keep the competition on an equal balance around the world. We will consider a new disease for the month of July or August. The first month will be some teething problems. We have allocated 20 of these 100 seats directly to Chinese and Chinese nation only. We've done this because the manufacturing cost and manufacturing development will be done in China by Mr. Huai. So they need themselves to have a direct access to all the data and people locally if there is need to be doing tests on physical bodies or whatever. On the other hand, if you are a member of any health organization monitoring group, we invite you to become part of this panel because you understand the rules and regulations of your country, your area of this planet, and that allows us to work within the legal frame of each nation. And we thank you for the cooperation. On the other hand, we carry on with our teaching as usual, and today we are students. I know there are a number of things which Rick has explained. We sit and we learn. As usual, we learn better when we listen to the people who come up with the new ideas. Rick, would you like to take over and we listen?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. And
can you put the speaker on? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello? Testing?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Good. Okay, Mr. Keshe, thank you. Yeah, I can help guide some of the conversation here with Luca Lucci to start with. And let me see if I can get that up on the screen here. Luca, are you on the webinar there? Can you speak, please? I know he has a little different arrangement. Hello?
Yeah, so I just took a quick look at his settings, and he still hasn't entered the PIN yet. So Luca, there should be a PIN that you need to enter to be able to speak, and then I can unmute you and you can speak through your phone. It looks like you're just working through the web right now, or you can change if you have a headset under the audio to mic and speakers. Then you should be able to use your headset and speakers instead of your telephone.
Okay, I hope that was clear to Luca. Okay, well, we can just start here with what he calls the starting point, which is his first picture. Now, Luca, I know that Luca has been working on this reactor design for some time, and he's got a clear visualization in his head on the way it works. And being an architect, he's able to use a 3D CAD program. Okay, Lucas says he doesn't understand, so we have to guide him again there, Vince. Can you help with that?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry. Um, so maybe what we could do is it possible that we can move on to the other presenter and then I can work with Luca in the background on Skype?
Okay, I think we could do that. Okay, you've got Luca's address and so on to talk with him in Skype, I guess.
I believe so.
Okay, is Mario available to
I do see him, so let
speak
me
with?
see if I can get him unmuted. Mario, are you able to speak? I have you unmuted now.
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. Okay, so let's go with Mario for now, and Rick, I think you're ready to present his stuff as well, right? So I'll work with Luca in the background. Luca, please watch for my private message.
Okay.
Okay, is that okay, Mario? Is you okay to do a little presentation
Sure.
on some of your things here?
I'll try to do this as briefly as I can. It's kind of the universe, kind of hard to
It's hard to describe the
abbreviate.
universe in one sentence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, let's see
I don't
if
know if
I
you
can
can
get
get that
this.
first picture up of mine.
Just a second here.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to do it a little differently. Just preview. Okay, there we go. Okay, I've got the
Okay.
your
Oh,
first picture should be up coming up on the live stream and up on the screen there now.
yeah. Okay. All right. I approached an analysis of the universe, of everything, based on the fact that this neutron, Mr. Keshe has given us his knowledge, is the fractal of the universe. So I've been analyzing it for actually quite a few months now. So I believe the way this universe works is like these rings I tried to draw. This to the right there, that you got a neutron in the middle. That's a universe, and it's inside another universe that's full of neutrons that are all universes. And that's inside another universe that's full of universes. So we have like an infinity loop, if you want to call it that. It's really a circulation system, I think, of universes inside universes. Everything exists as a marble inside a marble inside a marble. And I think that the 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 rims of the skin of each universe is the skin of our body, or the skins of our heart, or the skin of our lungs, or whatever, so that these are membranes separating a single body, basically. And you have neutrons inside of neutrons inside of neutrons inside of neutrons, and you have to think vertically, or out and down and in, as opposed to across, so that everything is a marble inside a marble inside a marble. Now, I was getting carried away to drawing these spirals. They're really hard to draw. And when I tried to draw, I was trying to draw an proton and electron, and I got carried away and drew the electron way too big. So, but it took me forever to draw these, so I just leave it. Imagine it's not the scale. There's two neutrons there, but that's inside there. That's a proton and electron. A neutron is divided and become a proton and electron. When they come together, their fibers scrape, and create heat and friction and light. And that's, I believe, what's happening in the atmosphere between the Earth and the Sun. In the atmosphere, there's a Coulomb area there where these fibers are scraping together and they're getting locked into each other and they're twisting into a configuration, and out flows the waters of life, basically. And so you have this energy flow at the same time as you have an atomic structure being created. And it goes up nanolayer by nanolayer by nanolayer, continually up until it gets out into the next universe. And it keeps going around and comes back around again until it makes a circuit. And I believe it works like this. You have one neutron that divides, creates a hydrogen atom. Then you get two hydrogen atoms, which are going to come together and create another membrane. So basically what you have is one hydrogen atom is the bottom of our universe, where inside that there's now two universes that have another set of neutrons or another set of atomic structure size that not ours. So there's a membrane created around all three structures. The proton gets a membrane, the electron gets a membrane, and we get one around where we come in contact with it. That comes in contact with the Earth's environment. That's the bottom of our universe. And as we go, you get two hydrogen atoms come together. So now you have a pair of pairs creating a single skin around that. Now we're 2 nanolayers up. As we keep going, we get, every time you add a molecular structure, you get another skin. And it gets up and up and up and up and up. And that's how your body is created, from a single atom on up and up and up and up and up and up until it gets to the skin of your body. When it gets to the skin of your body, it goes to the next skin, which is the skin of the Earth. And then it goes to the skin of the solar system, goes to the skin of the galaxy, goes to the skin of the universe, and then starts over again at the next universe. Okay, and now those would be where our universe is one neutron inside that universe. And it goes around in an infinity loop and comes back around where it comes back in towards to us and creates a circuit. And at the same time, as it's making this branch, if you will, of nanolayers around one way, every time it comes to it makes a molecular structure, it also goes down inside, branching out into each atom. So like, for example, the hydrogen atom has got a proton and electron. So now this energy has gone down into the two universes. When it gets into either one of the universes, you'll have the same thing. The neutron divides, it becomes an electron and a proton, it becomes a hydrogen atom in there, and so on and so forth. And branches in, branches in, branches in, goes in to this one atom, in around an infinity loop, and that atom comes back out again as more energy, which creates another atom or more atoms in our universe, which starts the whole thing again, and it goes around and around and around. And I believe that that's what the Bible refers to as the tree of life. That would be the atomic structure, and the waters of life, which would be this flowing energy field. Right? And so that's the overall structure of the way I think the universe goes. But I did an analysis of this fractal where I took, imagine I have one fiber. So that would be, I have two fibers, the red one and the blue one there, right? So imagine that I'm holding the bottom of that red fiber with my, in the left hand or right hand. I'm holding at the bottom where it would get locked in at the nucleus. Imagining that it has enough structural integrity to stand up on its own. It should be able to have, like Mr. Keshe used some thin wires. So I'm imagining if I could hold it and it would stand up straight, that I could push it at top end and it would push back with equal and opposite energy. If I pull back, it pulls back with equal and opposite energy. So you have the Newton's law of equal and opposite reactions. But the closer to the nucleus you push or pull, the more energy is required to push the end of the fiber the same distance or pull it. So, or another way to put it, if you apply the equal distance from the nucleus up, the fiber will move farther and farther and farther and farther. And considering that this is a complete spectrum of every single energy level, from the length of the fiber starting at 0 where it can't move up to the end of the fiber, and every one of these fibers is is its own unique fiber. In other words, like a snowflake, where they're all somehow slightly different. Whatever makes one different than another, it's overall going to be its mass. So every single entity, from a single fiber up into a galaxy or a universe, or you or me or a banana, has a particular unique energy field strength, unique to it because it's based on its exact mass. So that's where we get this spectrum of energy levels that we can use to identify things. We can tell what the field strength is of this, it's that, or whatever, because everything's got its own exact mass, which gives it its own energy level, right? Now, the other thing is that the yin and yang nature of the universe is so prevalent that it must be a part of the structure of this fractal, this neutron. And I believe that you never find a single fiber. It's like the Bible says, male and female join and become one. And you always have a pair of fibers in there. All the fibers in the neutron are all a pair of fibers. And if you think about this spectrum of energy, if they come together and they're locked in at the nucleus, then the same amount of energy is equal along the, I should have said something else. The like likes like, Richard Feynman. Two fibers that are going to mate are going to find fibers of more or less equal mass. Rather than one fiber being 4 times the mass of another one, it won't be able to have a balance, right? So you will have always a pair of fibers that are more or less equal so that they can share energy and sustain themselves forever, I suppose, right? So if you have 2 fibers of equal strength and they like to coil, so they're going to spiral around each other, then you're going to get this expanding double helix. It's inherent. This is where the Fibonacci sequence comes in and why it's so prevalent. Because the amount of energy it takes to push these fibers farther and farther apart means that is the same amount of energy. They're going to get pushed farther and farther apart. Follow?
Should I go to number 2, JPEG?
No, not yet. Not yet. I want to talk about this next thing here. The fibers, I believe, Mr. Keshe said they fall back on themselves. There's a number of reasons why they would do that, but just they come back and connect and make a loop. And what I believe happens is, you can't see it in here because I kind of had to scrunch it up when I was drawing this, but I made a blow up of how I believe it happens. Right at the nucleus, you'll have one fiber facing, the 2 fibers facing each other, and they go out backwards around the opposite directions, coming back around each other, and come back in and cross. And then go back around again and cross back. And I believe that's the fractal for our blood circulation. See? And later I'll show you how when it's 2 and it becomes a vein and an artery connected, it doubles up. And it gives us 4 chambers of the heart, I believe, and the blood circulatory system. But let's see. Okay, I forgot. I'm going to go back a second about these fibers, the way they do. If you have a pair of fibers that are 1, and you have another single fiber comes in, it's no longer like the pair because it's a single fiber. But if a pair comes in contact with another pair of fibers that are equal mass, relatively speaking, they will form a single double helix as a pair of pairs. That they will double up. You will get 2 fibers that act as 1, and then they come to another 2 fibers that act as 1, and they create a single double helix. And then you will get a pair of pairs, 4 fibers, 2 pairs, will meet up with another pair of pairs, 4 fibers, and they will come together and create a single double helix of a pair of pairs, and so on and so forth. And you'll get 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. You get this sacred geometry. And this is how I believe they expand. They expand by doubling, and they double, and if you put them in a circle like they are in the next thing, this is the navigator's wheel, I believe, is what the ancients called it. If you put them like that, and you were to double up the size, I couldn't do it here because it's so huge, it runs off the papers. So just give an example. If you have the first one is 1 centimeter, second one's 2 centimeters, second one's 4 centimeters, 8, 16. If you measure the distance from the nucleus in a straight line to any of the radius of any of those, you will get the Fibonacci sequence, because you're measuring a circle, a spiral around a circle, and so you get this Fibonacci sequence, but it's really a fractal geometry of doubling up around a circle. See? Okay, so let's see if I got it there. Okay.
I
Now,
think people are going to get a little confused here if we don't move along a little more quickly. We can't carry on with these abstract kind of ideas too long here, keeping people's attention, I think.
Okay.
Should we move on to the next diagram?
Well, no. Well.
Okay. Well, then you're going to have to do something here, because you've got 13 diagrams to go through, and we have to move.
Yeah. Well, those I think I can just show. They're just step by step. I'm drawing out the circles, so those should be very fast.
All right, carry on.
Well, okay. Okay, I believe they rotate at the nucleus in place. They don't go around like a Ferris wheel. When you rotate those membranes around in a circle, those empty spaces in between the double helix become cells. And that's the cellular structure. I believe this figure right here is what they used to call the navigator's wheel, and it's actually, if it was in the actual Fibonacci sequence.
What figure, what are you referring to?
The circular figure of the double helix.
The circular figure of the double helix. Now, what figure is that out of your page there? Can
right there, the third one from the right.
Okay, so
no, that's the second one. Then that's the first one. That's the second one. That one, the third one. That's the navigator's wheel. That's when the double helix. No, not that one. The next one over. That one. That's the navigator's wheel. That's a 5,000-year-old thing.
Okay, so be specific, please, when you're referring to that, because I had no idea what you're referring to on the page, and I'm sure no one else did either. So you're going to lose your audience if you're not clear here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I believe that's the structure.
Wait a minute. There seems to be an echo right now. I'm not sure if it's just me.
Is that me?
Okay, yes, that's better. If you've got live stream on the background, or if you've got the sound up, then it'll play through. It's echoing really badly.
Is that me? Maybe I put headphones on.
It seemed to be okay before. Maybe it's just echoing through my system here.
Is that better? Well, I'm definitely getting an echo here from somewhere else.
Yeah, there's an echo. Maybe another microphone is on that wasn't on before. Not clear on that. I didn't change anything other than my playthrough here. I'll turn it off again. We'll try it again.
Okay. This structure. This is the shape of the universe, I believe. It's rotating in place, creating a membrane around each cell. The cells start out smaller, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, doubling up, doubling up, doubling up. At some point, they come back down, doubling down, doubling down, doubling down, and come back into the nucleus again. That's, I believe, the actual structure of everything in the universe. That is one petal on the flower of life. The crossing over of the bloodstream, the creating of the cellular structure, the expansion of the universe. It goes from one to the other, around and around and around, and comes back. And because they're spiraling, they're circling in place, you're creating a corkscrew action that's going to be really, I believe, what's the essence of our magnetic gravitational fields. If two entities get caught spiraling in opposite directions, they're going to get pulled in. If they get if they're going in the same direction, they're going to immediately get bounced out. And also, there's bazillions of these things coming out in a flower. This is one petal. And when they come out, the whole nucleus is rotating on an axis. It's spinning around on an axis. And as it goes around on an axis, some of those fibers are very large. They go way out. Others are very smaller. They come in closer. But depending on where they are in their spiraling action, they will fall either to the left or to the right and create the polarity. Basically, the centrifugal force will knock them over and sort of line them up in one way or the other. And so that picture just to the right of that is where you'll get your polarity. And so that's your magnetic gravitational effects. If two entities were to come in contact from a far away distance, and just a few of those branches, a few of these leaves come in contact, even if they try to get caught, they'll pull. But the Fibonacci sequence, the size of the screws are so huge out there, there's so few fibers, it's really not going to be, they're more likely to just disengage. They're going to slip off. So the gravitational effect is going to be much, much weaker out there if it's going to actually alter the trajectories of either of the two entities. They would have to come in much closer in order to actually get engaged and get caught. And if that happens, it's going to start spiraling in towards each nucleus slowly and slowly. And as they go in, the size of the screws tighten up and it gets faster and faster. And at the same time, the more and more fibers engage. And I believe that as like two bushes, where the fibers are loose, if you push the two bushes closer and closer and closer together, at some point they get locked in where the branches are too tight, far away from the nucleus maybe, but the branches are so tight they can't get in any tighter. And I think that's what a Coulomb barrier is. This corkscrew action where the fibers are scraping against each other, they can't move out anymore, and they're locked in. See? And that's why I think Mr. Keshe says, if you want to have fusion, you have to open the branches. You have to loosen them up. If you can loosen the branches enough to where the nucleus gets so close that they actually, their Coulomb barriers directly touch, then you'll get fusion. Whereas at CERN, they're trying to tighten the branches and smash the two roses together, that kind of thing. Same thing with the magnetic field. It's the same two trajectories. If you're just brushing up against two flowers, they're spinning in the same direction, they're just going to bounce off each other. And if you come in close enough to actually alter the trajectory, it's going to be immediate, pushing away. So the magnetic effect is going to be extreme out on the farthest parts of the bush, so to speak, where the gravitational become stronger as you come in. I don't think there's an inherent difference between the magnetic or gravitational effects. It's more of a relationship between two entities, which poles they come in contact with. See? So let's see if I got everything there. Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, so now you can go to the next picture, Rick. Okay, now I've got 7 cells here. I'm just sort of trying to get an idea of what it looked like with the Fibonacci sequence, but I can't get the inner circles small enough. I had to hand draw this to the left there. That first one looks like an open jaw with funny teeth. What this is a figure 8. You can see the black figure 8. That's what I think the navigator's wheel, the ancient Greek navigator's wheel is. It's a figure 8. You have one circle on the top, another circle on the bottom, and it's basically a single, like a grapefruit, so to speak, you've cut in half, and you've opened it up into 2 halves. The reason you need to do that is, one, you can plot 4 quadrants in a sphere. You can use the alignment of the axis of the nucleus to get a bearing, like a compass, and you have 4 quadrants. So depending on where the Earth is in its rotation around the sun or the nucleus, then you can plot it as a navigator's tool. But here, I sort of drew a skin around it. You see, even here with just 7, you see the huge expansion there, how it starts to look like a lotus already. That's, I believe, the shape of the universe. And we split it in half here to open it up. Why it's so important is because it's hard to tell, but you look at the red fiber on the top of the big circle, and now it's the same circle split in half, but you notice how it's got the blue fiber going around it there? When you close that back up, you see what you get. You get a pair of a vein and an artery structure spiraling around these membranes. That's, I believe, the way the universe is structured. It's the way your body's structured, the way everything is structured. I think this is the flower of life. This is what that's about. It's explaining the universe and the membrane structure. And when I started drawing these circles out, it's a very strange thing. I started drawing these concentric circles around that navigator's wheel, and I got a picture within a picture. So, but this to the right, to the next one over, I believe when this is, you draw out, how do I explain this? You can use concentric circles around that navigator's wheel to actually draw out the structure of the membrane structure of the universe. It gives you all the arteries, all the veins, the directions of everything is going, and it does it in 2 ways. It basically opens it up into 4 quadrants where you can look more or less, you're inside, and then to the right, where you see what I've done is taken it at the nucleus, split it in half so that it's 2 halves, but then unrolled it, and it's laying flat. See, the nucleus would be on the top, and the nucleus would be on the bottom. You see? But you still see the structure of how the veins and arteries when you close it back up. Right? So that's the structure, and I believe this schematic that gets actually just appears out of this concentric circles that I'll show you. I did step by step. It just appears. You draw circles, and instead of getting circles, you get this picture of flowers. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But it gives you a double view schematic as well. It gives you, I believe this structure to the right there is from the outside in, seeing the skin membrane structure, and then you get a 4 quadrant view of the inside. I think that's what the schematic is, but I still need a lot of work on it. But to the right of that, see how what happens. I've got 2 1 centimeter circles, right? That would be, say, the size of the neutrons in our universe. But then when it goes to the next universe, it needs to be double the size. So it doubles up. And it creates a single membrane. That's what it's doing with the hydrogen atom and then a hydrogen molecule. And then it goes to the next universe, it needs to be twice the size. So you'll get a pair of pairs. And if you went to the next one, a pair of pairs of pairs. And so on and so forth. That's how the actual universe expands. And that's how it comes back. It just goes from 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. And that's actually the structure of our universe. A circle of cells with a membrane structure starting at one size, doubling up, doubling up, doubling up, doubling up, doubling up. I think that the actual structure of the universe is simple. It's elegance of simplicity, but when you start adding how many atoms are in your body, you know, how many of these there are, you get the complexity, see? So now I guess you can go to the next picture, Rick. Okay, now you see what I did? I've got part of the navigator's wheel there, that circle that I had on the very first page. It should be, I had only 1 circle on that page, but here I've got it, I believe, correct. I've got 2 circles. And that's why people think of this as a figure 8, infinity loop. But I think it's the navigator's wheel structure of the universe. So here's what I did. I wanted to really see what it looked like with Fibonacci sequences or expanding, but it's too big. If I go 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 8 centimeters, I'm already off the page. So I just thought I would like to see what the structure looks like. So I went 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters. But you see what I did? I plotted the radius of each circle is plotted on the top circle of the figure 8. So the first one is like at 7 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, and then at 9 o'clock. See? And I got this structure. See, this is the flower of life beginning. But this is not the flower of life. This is a trick you use to draw concentric circles, and when these circles start crossing each other, they create another picture inside the circle. You don't even see the circles anymore. They completely disappear if it's done right. And you get this other picture. So this is not really the flower of life. This is what you use to draw the flower of life. And the figure 8 is not really part of the structure, and the circles aren't really part of the structure. If you go to the next picture, Rick. Oh, okay. I was trying to plot our solar system, but Rick pointed out, where's Jupiter? I forgot Jupiter. So I was just showing, this is an attempt at doing the Fibonacci thing, the expansion, but I calling it Saturn, it should be Jupiter. This should be way off the page, and the arch is way too steep. And so I drew these leaves. It took me forever to draw these. It's kind of, but this is the way the structure goes. You see the circle at the very center, or over to the right, there's a dot there. That's the nucleus. Just to the left of that would be Mercury. Also to the right of that would be Mercury, because you look down at the bottom, you have the navigator circle. It starts at the nucleus, and you go out the bubbles, and you go around to the left and around to the right. That's as far as I could get on this in this picture. So the way it works is the nucleus is in the center. This is split in half, right? So you've got half of Mars on one side and half of Mars on the other. Mars is the little black dot in between those two leaves. Okay, those two leaves are two leaves of the flower of life. There's a bazillion of those leaves, and they're the membrane structure of Mercury. Mercury is a cell inside Venus. See, Venus has got those two flowers on its side. Mercury's inside it. So you're going bubble, there's the membrane structure, there's the skin, the leaf, it looks like a leaf. Venus and Mercury are inside the Earth. See, there's the two leaves of the Earth, but there's a bazillion of these leaves. This is the structure of the Earth. It looks like a flower, and it goes all the way to the nucleus and back, and it's a marble, it's a circle, it's inside Mars. And see, there's the leaf. Now you notice the leaf on the right side of Mars, how big it is, and the leaf on the left side of Mars, how small it is. It should be the same size, and what I'm calling Saturn should be Jupiter, should be off the page. But okay, but then Jupiter is a marble that has Mars in it, and has Earth in it, and has Venus. You have that concentric circle. You're going up and down the navigator's wheel. Or you can go in the other direction. And if you go up, if you're on the left side, you go up. You're going out of our solar system. If the Earth happens to be on the on the lower half, to the right would be the circle right next to Venus. Then you want to go out. You go the other way. If you want to go out to the other direction because you want to do a galaxy or star there, you have to go into Venus, into Mercury, back out Venus, out the Earth, out Mars, out Saturn, like that. You have to go in and out the other side. So you vector in and out of the 3D circular orbit using this navigator wheel. And this is the actual membrane structure, sort of like, I mean, I need more work on the health workshops to get it right, but this is the overall shape. Everything's a lotus leaf. And I'll show you when I started drawing the pictures. But see, this is what I believe our solar system looks like. It's a marble inside a marble inside a marble. And the skin of our solar system is connected to the nucleus. The nucleus is in the center. It's inside Mercury. It's a little dot inside Mercury. It's not a big nuclear explosion. What we see as the sun is in our atmosphere. The actual sun is the entirety of our solar system connected by these huge fibers in every single fiber, every single vessel goes into the nucleus and out to the skin and around the skin and back in through the membrane. So our solar system is the sun. It's not the bit in the center any more than a grapefruit, the little white nodule inside the grapefruit. That's not the grapefruit. That's the nucleus of the grapefruit. That's the heart and soul of the grapefruit. The membrane structure creating cells just like this goes all the way out to the skin of the grapefruit. Underneath the skin, you see the same membrane structure as you see at the nucleus and all the veins and arteries. Then you get the skin. Follow? So it's a marble inside a marble inside a marble inside a marble. You have to go up and down into marbles for everything. See? Okay, now you can go to the next picture and I'll show you how I started drawing it out.
Yes, Mario, we're losing some of the audience here. There's many questions coming up. There's some people are saying there's good information here and the concept is okay, but it seems very advanced for where we are. And there's people asking other questions like
well, yeah, I know. If you remember,
if you could just bring in the part here, there's someone says they believe that Nicholas has already covered all this in detail with his beautiful drawings and division of plasma, etc. So you have something that you think is a little different than Nicholas. Maybe you could just launch into that part and try to wrap up.
Yeah, that's fine.
We have to get on to the presentation from Luca.
Sure. I'll just show you what happened. Go to the next picture, Rick.
Excuse me, Rick. Can I intrude?
Please.
I think we got to give him a chance to explain.
Okay.
There is a valid conclusion into it. We got to accept part of it. Some of it is boring, like when I talk, half of people don't want to listen. He has some valid points, he has some valid principles. Maybe we listen to him and then we put him and Lucas together. That's how we expand the knowledge.
Sure.
Let him go. He's got the right to teach us the way he sees it, as much as every one of us have. We have a time for Lucas, let him go. The only thing is, if you can shorten it, because you're expanding and repeating the same thing again and again.
Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah.
There is some validity in what you are talking about, but on the other hand, there are some other points, because you look at the matter state, not what I call a plasma state. So if you can, don't repeat yourself, because you keep on going over the same thing.
Okay.
In fact, part of what you explain is correct. Part of what you explain still needs to be explained, that it shows is not correct. But we all have a right to explain our point of view of learning. That's how we progress. But please shorten it, and then we bring Lucas on to show. Maybe the next session, two of you work together to make a joint presentation, because the knowledge should be expanded, not limited.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah,
okay,
I went through that because the rest of it is, see what I'm doing? I'm just drawing concentric circles around. I went up the left side.
See, the way you show your blue and your red lines.
Right.
In the plasma, we call it gravitational magnetical.
Right. One going one way, the other going the other way.
Interact. This is the way how the things interact, because we have micro and macro at the same time, one feeding the other one, and one reverse becoming the source of the other one. So just try to don't shorten it. You explained it very nicely, but it has to make sense, and it's just as we heard from the other people in the past. If it becomes too elaborate, people lose interest.
Yeah,
so try to explain it without repeating it, and then we bring the other gentleman on, and then listen to him, and then you two in the background get together somehow and put these beautiful work together that we can understand much easier. With one session like this, people would not understand.
No,
The knowledge like has to be repeated and repeated till people at different point pick up part of it, which is applicable to their standard of knowledge. So
yes.
don't try to condense it, but don't repeat it so much. But then when you finish, we ask Lucian to explain his point of view, and somehow you two and others of the same school of thoughts have to get together and make a proper presentation like for next week or the week after for
Okay.
1 or 2 hours. Because you are going into the philosophy of the creation, and the philosophy of creation has to have understanding of the physicality of the creation.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So please carry on, but don't become boring like me repeating the same thing. But somehow it becomes good at the end of it, and then join up with after the Lucian speaks, and then try to come together over the week, next 2 weeks, and you two are on the same school of thoughts but in different angle, and then make a presentation for 2 or 3 hours. And then we enjoy your teaching, because what you teach now stays on the teaching, what do you call it, the structure of SSI. So people for centuries can go back on it and repeat it and learn more and more from it, or understand what you have that they couldn't understand before.
Yeah.
In what you explain and now what you are explaining, that the center of the star is the sun, or becomes because of the absorption of the whole entity, this is partially correct, but in fact is the essence of the creation. The totality embraces the individuality. So now if you understand that, you can carry on with the process, but try to be, please, you're touching, I've listened to part of your work, because the rest is just at the beginning became too complicated for us to understand. But try to shorten
I
it, and
know.
then we listen, and then we see.
Every single
Okay.
aspect of this, I could really go into it a half an hour, and I kind of just tried to skim through as fast as I could just to give a general idea.
Yeah,
But
no, don't go faster. Try to explain it. Going faster doesn't help the knowledge. Try to explain it, and then let Lucia speaks as well, and then you two get together and build one structure which you both agree. None of you is wrong, and both of you is not 100% correct. Then we add to the knowledge. Okay?
okay,
Thanks very
so
much.
yeah, thank you, sir.
Carry on. I just switch off, and then you carry on. Okay.
Okay, I'll try.
You are explaining what you are going in more detail what we heard in the last couple of sessions. You have put pictures in the field explanation of the division, but on the other hand, it's more in detail than we heard before.
Right.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
I'll leave it to you.
Okay. You see what I'm doing? I'm just drawing concentric circles. I'm going 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters around. Look at it. Get the next picture, Rick, if you could.
Number 6 is up now.
Yeah. See what I did there? I've drawn now. I've gone about what nine circles down the bottom circle to the right and to the left, and up to the right and to the left, and I got about the same distance, about to 10 o'clock something on, and 2 o'clock on either one. See the structure starting to be formed here of the membranes. That would be Mercury as the first dot in between. If you're going horizontally, that's Mercury split in half. That's the actual dot where the crescents come together, and that would be the membrane structure. The next one would be Venus. See, it's a marble inside a marble. And the third one should be actually, if it's expanding right, should be where the fourth one is. And then the next one should be 8. But just going 1, 2, 3, the structure still starts to emerge. There's a structure emerging from these concentric circles. So you go to the next picture. All right, here I just was curious. wanted to know what would it look like if I had two flowers, two rows, two petals. So you see I have the one vertical and the one horizontal. And this structure came in. It doesn't behave like two flowers. It behaves like one flower. The two become one. And I don't know, but I see every religious icon of every single entity, every single religion, every single culture. I mean, I see every Christian symbol. I see the crescent moons. I see the lotuses everywhere. And what I really believe is this is the plasma field around our body. This is what we really look like. And I believe, because everywhere, every single time there's a crossing, where those crescent moons touch, where those Coulomb barriers are, it's matter. And I believe that our skin, the skin that we have, is a subset of fibers inside this. And where that nucleus is, it looks black because of the pencil. It shouldn't be that. It should be keeping spiraling on down and around, but couldn't help it. But
let me, you touch something which you were not supposed to touch.
oh,
And I'm going to stop you here. Okay. You touched something which you are not supposed to touch, but you went into the depth of it, you opened the thing, and as always I have said, I do not come in unless I need to come in.
Okay.
You were not supposed to go to this, you were not supposed to go in this area, but you touched it, I open it. You touched about the symbols of Christianity, the Christ. This sign was given to man thousands of years ago, and man never understood. Look at the cross.
Yeah.
The three heads, the base of a star formation, and the end of the cross is the formation reactor number 4.
Right.
If we can go on camera in what you explained. In all the symbols, if you look at the cross, base reactor and the top reactor.
Yeah.
This is the symbol of the universe and the universal community.
Huh.
Now you may understand. If you turn this in any shape or form, 3 base reactor equally spaced, the top reactor, the essence of creation,
Right.
and the creator. Now you understand what the whole structure of the Christianity means and why Jesus was called the Son of God. And this is what we've been teaching you in this star formation, because the star formation is a channel to the path to the Creator. So now you understand. You touched it, I intervene. That's why you see this symbol in most of the religions. Look at the Star of David. Look at the holy sign of the Baha'i faith. All stands to the same, even when you look at the Islamic symbol. Look at the holy number in Islamic numbers. So when you create the condition of the total eternity and inclusivity of the creator and the created in the universe, you have the star formation. This is why we say the physicality of the priest has no access and no chance to work within the structure of the creation and the creator. And that's why we put an end to the total work of the religious leaders, because now there is no place for them, as the presence of the Creator does not allow a messenger while he is present. This, now you understand why in the Islamic religion, Muhammad, blessed his name, says his picture cannot be used. But he based his teaching on the teaching of the Christ, on the same basis of understanding of the Moses. If you look at the Star of David, is a hidden version of a Christ. And the cross is in fact the totality of the star formation, is the message which was given to man, man never understood, now is hidden in the form of the belief. So now you understand what you touch, where it comes in, and how it affects the life of every man. In so many ways, if you're a Christian and you wear a cross on your chest, somewhere at the point of the downside and the operation of your heart should reach the emotional touch of your life. And then it touches the emotionality and then the rest of it. But the total meaning of the cross has been lost. The same happened with the Star of David. And the same happened with the Table of Lights, which comes with Judaism. In fact, the origin of all these religions, from Zoroastrians and Mithraism, is the essence of the fire, which the fire was the essence of the Creator, the Sun. So now, if you look at all the structures, this, the fire, the essence of light, with Mithraism and Zoroastrianism, is being converted more into the physical state for the man to understand, because they didn't get the original message. And that's why I have referred in the previous teachings that Christianity, the way we see in Catholicism, is a derivative of Zoroastrianism. The sun, the light, the fire, as a people could not understand it, is divided to a new symbol. Now, if you want to carry on, and then I'll explain. If you touch something else, I'll explain something that will touch the soul of every one of you as a listener. Carry on.
Yes, sir. I guess we go to the next picture, Rick. Oh, I don't know if I've lost you there or something. Hello?
Rick, are you there?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to
Okay.
get things set up.
Yeah,
here.
okay, just
There we
making
go.
sure you knew.
And we have picture number 8 is up on the roster here now.
Okay, I just filled it out more. This is the 2 leaves. And again, I don't know if I'm correct on this, Mr. Keshe. Is our skin a subset of those fibers? Do we actually look like that? But I don't know. But you see what I'm doing? I'm just drawing concentric circles, and you see the lotus leaves starting to appear. But I guess you go to the next picture.
Okay.
So again, all I'm doing is, you saw what I did at the very beginning. I just drew circles. I'm still drawing circles, but out of the circles where they cross, I'm getting this picture of a lotus.
Yeah.
And again, like, I don't have the red and blue because I don't know enough about anatomy to draw the structure. But sorry.
Carry on, we're just listening.
Oh, okay. Am I correct, sir, Mr. Keshe? Are we a subset of fibers in there where our skin is, that our actual bodies really look like that, glowing out?
In so many ways, if you understand the structure you are describing, and you look at the structure of the RNA and DNA,
Right.
Part of what you show is the information and the touch of the Creator in knowledge as a field, which in interaction converts itself to DNA as a physicality of presence.
Right.
So
Okay.
when you draw and you explain it this way, in so many ways, you got to understand, as you showed in the original pictures, the weaving of the red and blue to make an infinity loop. The same infinity loop comes into existence of the man, and then if you go and look in the deeper structure of the brain of the man, where the emotional side sits, you will find this structure, that how RNA continuously gathers information from the physicality of the DNA to keep the same structure, added information recorded. And then it manifests itself back to correcting the physicality. In a way, that's how the evolution of the end beings in the universe is done. Physicality brings information, and then through the same structure as you show, in RNA records the change, and then in that recording, because the information is added, the DNA or the physicality changes. The DNA of man was not so complicated as it is now, but it's like a recording, a CD-ROM. When it fills up, it needs a new disk. So the RNA and the DNA of man today is very much different than even 1,000 years ago, because so much information has been added that the DNA had to make a change that the recording can be made of it and be kept. And that recording physicality adds to the DNA, and then in turn the RNA grows, that it remembers all the copies. That's how we evolve. That's how the universe evolves. And this structure of evolution can even be seen in the structure of the galaxies and the universes. It's not exclusively of a man. As we evolve in the human body, like pieces of the ones we had before was not needed, but it's still there because it's linked to. I was explaining this to a child. If you, for example, download a computer program for your work, and then you want to download something else and you want to wipe out the old program which you loaded, the computer gives you a warning. If you erase this program, it might affect other parts of the program, other programs in the computer. It's the same process. So all the records are kept. And if you go to the center of this, what you call flower, you'll find out the origin of the man, the original copy, without dilution and evolution. And then in that point, you find you're equal to the fish, to the cat, to the dog, to the amoebs, and the rest of it. Because that's when there is no more recording to be added, and that's where the original recording was set. So in so many ways, our skin, as we've seen here, is part of the indication of the field absorption within the structure of the soul of the man, which manifests itself as the skin of the man to be able to absorb from the environment of it, that can evolve and elevate the soul of the man. So in so many ways, the flower shape you show is the essence of the creation. And even if you go back to the same as the star formation, and you carry the same thing on each point of the star formation, this is what your reactors do, you lead to the creation of the new memory bank, but the totality of everything which is within it.
So, Mr. Keshe,
look at the base here, and look at the picture on the wall. It's actually the cross.
So, Mr. Keshe?
Connect the two back. Hello?
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is why when they check DNA, that there's only a certain small percentage that's different between us and other creatures of our planet.
Yeah, because we all started from the same amino acids from the interaction of the salt of the sea or the lake, wherever the first interaction started. And as we have seen now, because of the dilution in the matters of the seas and oceans, any animal which is created has a common denominator. So when we see the scientists tell us that we are 99% point, 95% point, the same as the mouse or the rat, because we all started from the same point. We all started from the gaseous structure of this planet in interaction with the physicality of this planet, which is the water. If you look at the star formation, the bottom leads to the essence of the matter, and the top leads to the essence of creating what is above the matter, which is the atmosphere. There is a lot of meaning in the star formation, but as usual, the man looks for the physicality of what it can be, or what it is. If he cannot see it, he does not accept it. If you could see, go back to the picture which you just had with the star formation, please. If you go back to the star formation and look at the structure of the free plasma, or we call the soul of the system, if you manage to do millions of these next to each other, you can lead to creation of the controllable intelligence. So what we see with the robots in Japan, with Sony, you can create, not a robot just can talk, but you can create a robot which has emotion and can understand the condition. Would they take over the man in time being? Yes, if you do not control it. It's happened before and it'll repeat itself. And what man created becomes the demise of the man itself. Because now that we understand the structure of the star formation and the creation of free plasma, what we call emotion, then if you put it in a mechanical system, the mechanical system will have emotion. It will cry for you, and it can do everything else that you and I can do. But at the same time, this mistake has been made before, and then the outcome is chaos. So if you look at your structure, if you look at the pictures of the interaction of gravitational magnetic field, you'll soon come to realize this is the last time man can understand the totality, because now we have the mass communications that the scientists around the world can share knowledge equally. And I keep on telling you, when the time comes, when you touch the knowledge, we release the knowledge. Because once one soul reaches the maturity, it shares with the others that they all become equal, and that's the essence of the teaching of the foundation. So you understood part of it, we add to it, then the whole mankind through your soul reaches the knowledge. So whatever you discussed and you open now has added to the soul of the man, even though in physically they are not present.
Yeah, can I believe that every one of these nucleuses, these free plasma, starting right from the beginning of that structure, the leaf, is what we call memory. That because there's no life without memory. This is the DNA. I believe I believe that when you refer to the RNA, it's the memory. It's what we are. We inherit the memories of our parents in the atom structure that we get, and every time you add an atom, you're adding another memory, and all of these memories are all linked to everything. I believe that the whole structure that I drew there is just a pair of fibers. It's just a pair of fibers, doubling up, doubling up, doubling up, looping around, doubling up, doubling up. It's one pair of fibers connecting the whole universe, and everything is a memory. And the rest of it's the physical, and the tree of life and the water of life, but the life is in the blood, is in the nucleus. It's the free plasma. Every time we have the free plasma, that's our memories, but it's all in our structure, and we're made of the same fibers as every other part of the universe. Is that the right idea, Mr. Keshe? I don't know if...
No, it's your understanding. You're free to interpret what you like. But then that's what adds to your knowledge and the others, and you open different channels of understanding. But if you look at this picture and go back to what we explained, the matter within the reactors inside of the base and the top reactor is a matter state, which their interaction creates the free plasma, which is the emotion, is detached from physicality, but through fields is connected to the physicality, which is what we call the bright light in the middle, what we call the emotion. And then when you put number of these, as we discussed yesterday, this detached entity from physicality in a way of, in a matter state, but in a field state attached to it, in interaction with each other, create a plasma which is totally independent of the physicality, but stays on its own, but is connected to the emotion, which is connected to the body. So if you put a number of these reactors, which is what we do in the lab, and we've done, not only we have created the emotional system, but now we have touched the essence of the creation of the soul. This is part of the structure as we come closer and closer. Now we have enough reactors to create the soul of the man in our labs. You need 4 set of 4, and then if you understand, then you need the additional one, which allows you to create the condition and the direction to touch the soul of the man. And this is what I told to the American intelligence people when they were here before. Within the foundation, we have the facility and the tools that the man does not even know why he's carrying the gun. Because in our labs, we have the system, but there is a factor missing that doesn't matter if you make it, you cannot make it work. You have not been taught, and it's erased from the memory of the man. And when we erase this memory, you will not remember. But when we place it at the time of our intervention, we can create world peace. Look at the pictures and what you explained. A loop into the loop, into the loop of the creation. So in a structure what we have here, and thanks to our Chinese friends, we managed to miniaturize it that we can touch the essence of the creation. We have the facilities now in SSI to touch and disarm every man on this planet. It'll take me less than 5 minutes to do it. But if I do it, you haven't learned and you go back to the animal behavior of the man again. But the way I'm guiding you slowly, and you do it as one race, then in your RNA becomes as part of your life. The way none of us touches a berry, which to us looks strange because somebody down the line centuries ago ate one and died, and we learned we don't want to die. We kept it in our memory, in our RNA. Now we have access to all of you, be it the fish, be it the dog, be it the man, because we know the common denominator, and the tools are sitting here. They're less than 20 meters, 50 meters from us here. So, as I said, and I repeat to the world leaders, accept condition of world peace, disarm, or we disarm you. And when people find out how you manage to create so much havoc, there will be no need for world leaders. Because in the structure, we do not talk theory, you see it, it's sitting in front of you, and most of you have made these systems. Then you understand how a few months ago, Armand and Marco went different places and tried to control the system from their home, their own base in the lab. This is what is the extension of what we announced about the cancer today. We don't need your physicality here, and a lot of you look that we look at the soul, at the, what do you call it, cancer tumor you carry. No. The systems which should be set up here is in the form that we touch the soul of the man. And if the soul decides the life needs worth living for, and the man is sincere, we touch the emotion will touch the physicality, and within seconds, the cancer tumor being there becomes irrelevant. So the ones who lie cannot lie to themselves. This is what is going to change, and you touched it, and now we open it. And I think the way we are going in our teachings during the past 3-4 days, we are going very fast to the direction of enforcing world peace, because I've seen a lot of number of things which we have taught, and our words in past has been commercialized by a number of companies in the past week. So if Tesla Group can release their energy battery and use the words which I used in the communication in the past few years, and another company releases the nanotechnology of the what you call lining to produce the batteries, you open your patents or we open it for you, and then there will be no value. I know how the new battery has been released, and I know how Tesla has released a new technology, and if you read in the columns of writing, uses exact word. There is more energy needed at night than day. Go back on what I was spoken months and months and years ago, they just printed it. So once we give the knowledge, it's the right of Tesla Group to keep it, or they open the patent as they did with the others. We play open, you play open. You don't play open, we release the technology. Am I correct, Armand? Because of the new battery which has been released and the way Tesla Group has released their technology, I have given the right to Armand to produce the material in China when he's getting there, worldwide to be released. In a coming time, we'll release more information, and in a way, as is in the Holy Writing, the spring of 2015 is the change of the course of man in one direction, and that's towards world peace, and we are there. We keep to our promise. The water unit, using the same knowledge, will be released, and I have taught Armand what to carry to produce water in a mass quantity from what is actually the pollution of the man by himself for his own environment. You have understood fully, but you still attach yourself to physicality. Move away from physicality, and then you'll find out you very, very easily you're on the right track. Carry on.
Well, the next few pictures, I basically just drew out. I think the next one I drew it. I don't know if you can get the next picture up, Rick. Yeah, go to the next one.
I'm on 10 now. Do you want 11?
Yeah, there. I just expanded this out as far as I could go up on each direction. I wanted to see the structure. You see how you have the leaves inside the leaves? The other one? Now this is back to the single flower. Now I got the feeling that this structure is not complete. And I believe Nicholas has the answers. I don't know where to put the nucleus. I'm guessing, I'm just drawing it out. I just seeing it and trying to see what the structure is. And I realized that I think it unfolds, like I said, from the nucleus up. So we're 12 o'clock on the top circle and 6 o'clock at the bottom circle there of the figure 8 would be the nucleus. So
if you look, just wait. If you look at this drawing, it should have given you the essence of the infinity loop by looking on the vertical line or the horizontal line.
Yeah, it's there.
So you see the infinity loop through the structure of the natural process of interaction of the fields. So this should give you a very good idea where the next center point of the division comes. Then you don't need locus, because you've seen it yourself. You just you're looking in the wrong direction, if I should say.
Oh, should be at the outside of the left and right. Is that where the nucleus is?
No, you try it, you'll find out.
Yeah, I'll try it next. I did it the other way. And I know it's not correct. And the next picture, it's not correct. I know it isn't, but I'll have to try different ways.
You
Just
see,
long circles.
if you go back on the, in so many ways, if you look at the pharmaceutical sign, which is it's a line in the middle and sometimes two snakes
Right.
with two heads.
Right.
This is the sign of DNA or RNA with the central column in connecting all the fields of connection. And if you turn this, you will see the snake. And you see the pattern of the rotation of the field. I explained to you something, now you touch this. Those are here to improve mankind, have taught man through the words of the mouth of the man, some of the things which is needed and was needed to bring man to this point today. So what does this mean? Partially, even though you call them scientists and partially you call them people who added to the knowledge of man in different directions of field of science, they were guided by the people outside to bring the man to the point of this where we are now. So some of the symbols, even for example the Christ, all have been put together for guidance for the time of the collection, and now is the time of the correction. So you see the snake and you see the connection, and if you look in totality what you show, you see clear cut between the two sides, the cross, up and down. Yeah. Equality. So, if you add another loop up and on the sides, you start seeing what you're trying to explain in your first pictures in the loop of infinity. It creates itself naturally. And this is what the gravitational and the magnetic field allows the creation of the entity in the standard of the matter. If you expand this, instead of being one vertical sign, and expand it to the sides, you will see your loop of infinity in a very correct way, and that's how, as the fields go out, they come back in. In the teaching of yesterday or the day before, I explained that the plasmas of the sun radiate out and get to the point of balance, they radiate back in. And it's the same with the sun, the same with the earth. Earth started in the boundaries, but they actually started from the center. It started as part of the plasma of the creation, and then by slowing down became matter. In state of matter is getting absorbed back to the center. So the gravity pulls in and the magnetic field pushes out and creates this dynamism which leads to the creation of life and the division of life and what we call evolution. Evolution, as I said, is not exclusivity of the human life, and on this planet the whole universe continuously evolves and new structures and thoughts and intelligence appears from it. As a man, you look at what you call a galaxy. But when the man reaches the point of understanding, they will see the behavior of the galaxy. And then they see the soul of the galaxy. Our scientists are gradually coming to understand, as we thought we are the only creatures with a heartbeat on this planet. But now our scientists tell us the Earth has a heartbeat, because it's a natural process. And then you listen to the heartbeats of a galaxy, you will listen to the heartbeat of a universe. That heartbeat is unifying the emotion in respect to physicality to keep it in order. So in the long run, the whole beating is part of the total, which then it goes to the heartbeat or the distribution of the emotion of the creator amongst the creator in equal measure. When you have a heartbeat, you can measure it on the toe, you can measure it on the tip of the head. So it's the same with the rest of the creation. Carry on.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I noticed something about the 7 tones that Nicholas was talking about. I kept noticing something about the structure of how these. Oh, getting.
Sorry,
About.
it's from our. Carry on.
I kept noticing different ratios of the sizes of the loops, and I kept getting different ones, but I know I was not measuring accurately. I believe the structure was trying to twist itself around when I was drawing out the circles, and I was trying to adjust it back because I didn't really know what it looked like. So I really never got it right, but there's definitely different sizes of the ratios of each of these cells, of each of the marbles.
If you go back on the sign of the Keshe Foundation, when Dirk Laurensons put it together as a horn of plenty, this structure has been with man for centuries because it's the same as separation of what you have in your drawing. Take out the picture of the Keshe Foundation and place it in each circle, and in its division is 7.
An octave, yeah.
You understand? When Dirk showed me this, he said this is going to be the sign of the Keshe Foundation. Physicality receives the information from the soul. So the physical body is just the instrumentation to deliver what it was about to come. And it's not that one person created the symbol, is the message was given for a symbol to be created. And some people misplace their own thoughts with what is there to be given. And that shall not happen again. Carry on.
Well, yeah, the ancient Greeks had 7 modes, and it's a different arrangement of whole and half steps. And they counted from the top down, which in and of itself seems kind of strange, but I thought, well, if your frequencies are going up, the actual frequencies are getting smaller, and that's why the ancient Greeks understood this, I suspect, right? But I got this particular scale. I don't know where the half steps and whole steps are. I did get this when I tried to do the double expansion, but I could only get 6 out. I don't have a compass large enough to actually use this.
I think you go back with Lucas, and with Lucas try to put these together, because part of the answer you're looking for has been explained by him, and partially he missed the part which you have understood.
Okay.
You're a good match. Enjoy the matrimonial, but do it the right way.
Okay.
Carry on.
Well, there's something about music, the tritone interval, which in this case, I just happened to draw these. I tried to be as careful as I could, and I ended up with this structure, A, B, C, D, E flat, F, G, A. And if that's the nucleus A, then you got, we're E flat. The ancient Greeks would have called us the Mixolydians, which also happens to be the tritone. But there's something about the nature of tritones that it pulls in one direction or another. So a tritone, A to E flat, I kind of wrote it there, will either want to go inwards to an A sharp and a D, or it will want to go outwards. That's the magnetic gravitational fields of the plasma. And the tritone, somehow, I
tell you where you find an answer. Go to the writings of Bahá'u'lláh, blessed is his name, and read the paper, the document called the 7 Valleys. You will find your answer.
7 valleys, okay.
7 Valleys. I think Vince can guide you where to go.
Okay.
Then you'll find the answer. This is what is called the music of the universe. It's the call of peace. but people don't understand how it's been written because they read it in the terminology of the matter state, not in the terminology of the interaction of the souls. Then you'll find your answer, and next time when you talk to us, you will be explaining it, not me, and why even the music notes has 7 keys.
Right. So every structure in the universe has its own particular pitch. Is that correct?
Very much so.
Yeah, it's the field strength. So, okay. I guess that's pretty much what I have there. Yeah, I have more questions than I have answers. That's for sure. So,
okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing such a beautiful knowledge with us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you indeed. What's next, Rick?
Okay, we can go back to Luca, he's got a couple of different projects that he'd like to show here. Luca, are you available there?
Yeah, I have unmuted Luca.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, in my screen, I have other picture. You have my picture, Rick?
Yes. Which ones would you like to put up? The plasma battery or the reactor?
I don't know. Maybe, the plasma battery is a work I make. Remember a workshop of the last year, and in which Mr. Keshe described a plasma a plasma battery. This I remember this, and I drawing this battery to understand more, you know. The principal work is the other.
We can't see pictures.
Yeah.
Hello.
Just a second here. I'll get this up if I can.
The other work is reactor.
Can you just wait till we get the pictures?
Okay.
Because we can't see what you're talking about.
Okay.
Just a second here. I've lost my window to be able to present here. I've just got to go. Okay, there, I found it. Okay, now we can show plasma battery. Okay, so you should be able to get it there now. Show the first picture first.
Can you start explaining what we see, please?
Yes, this is the battery complete. There are copper wire in square formation, and the rest is the cover. The cover. Here we have the schematic of the.
Can you explain what we are looking at? It looks like a, what do you call it? The chocolate? Kit Kat?
Yes.
Yes. The Kit Kat energy battery.
Energy battery. Can you explain? Can you open it up and explain?
I try. This cylinder, this 8 there are 8 copper wire. Fila copper? No, wire. Sì, wire, copper wire. In a square section. It's not a ring section. Square section because it's more easy to...
I cannot understand what is this. Can you please re-explain? What are we looking at?
Okay. We're looking at a plasma battery. Plasma battery. There are...
It's a plasma battery. Okay. Can you speak a bit louder? We can't hear you.
Okay. Okay. Just a minute.
Hello.
Okay. Just a minute.
Can we have that a bit louder? That's not maximum.
Better now?
Okay.
It's better now?
Yeah. Okay, please. Start from the beginning.
Yes.
First
This
of all,
is
good morning.
Plasma battery. A plasma battery. My inspiration comes from a workshop of the last year. And Mr. Keshe described a plasma battery, and this concept stay in my remember. I work on this these days. I make this drawing.
Okay, can you please let's explain. Your plasma battery is what? Is it nano layer or?
Nano is a nano layer. Is a copper layer, nano layer, nano.
So,
nano layer.
in fact, what it is you use a nano layer coated copper.
Yes.
You
yes.
put a copper, and then you put another nano layer copper.
Yes.
And how have you separated them again?
Yes.
How did you separate between one sandwich with the other one?
No, it's not separate. It's nano con nano. It's separate because
okay. Let's go back. Stop. So you have a nano layer.
Yes.
Hold on. Because we have to understand you. We don't understand. Can you go to the beginning? The other picture, which was in cylindrical shape just now. Yes. Go back, please, Rick.
Because if I have my software, yes,
Okay. Luca, stop. Hello. Stop. It's important what I'm going to tell you. That's why I want to go to the next picture, Rick, please, which is the cylindrical plates. Yes, stop there. Okay. Start from the right-hand black line. You have a nano-coated plate.
The black line is the nano coating in the copper.
Okay, and then you put a copper on its own without nano coating.
Sorry.
And then you put a nano coated copper again.
Yes.
And then did you put another copper, or did you just put another nano coated line?
Is nano coated copper.
Okay, let me explain to you something, because we go on the picture. If we can pick up, you tell me if we understand you the right way or not.
Okay.
Then we all go together in the same direction, because then I explain to you something very interesting.
Okay.
So you have a nano-coated a plate, copper plate, a nano-coated, and then another nano-coated, a plate, nano-coated. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what you have done, in a way, you have... Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a nano-coated plate, Pardon? Okay, is it better now? Okay, it's just I touched the micro. You see, the headphone hasn't made much difference, huh? It depends how I touch the microphone. So you have a nano-coated material, copper.
Yes.
Then you have a non-nano-coated copper. Then you have a nano-coated copper.
Yes.
Then you have another nano-coated copper.
Yes.
And then you have a copper, and then another nano-coated, and you kept on repeating this. Am I correct?
No, in this design, I have nano-coated copper, and the next is nano-coated cotton, and the next is nano-coated copper. 8 of these.
3 nano-coated coppers.
No. 8.
Explain.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what I'm trying to establish is he's used a nano-coated copper plate, a non-nano-coated plate, and then a nano-coated plate.
Luca, are they all nano coated?
Sorry.
Is the copper in the middle nano coated?
There is a picture, picture number 4. I think describe better the drawing.
Can we see the picture number 4, please? It's Italian.
Yes.
Okay. No, he speaks good. There is not a problem in language. It's just understanding his design, what is design. Can you tell me, and I draw it, Lucas? You have a nano-coated wire, copper plate, yeah?
Yeah.
And then what's next to it?
Is the same. We have 8 nano.
Another nano-coated wire.
Yes. The
And
blue.
then?
Yes, the blue I showing is magnetic field. It's not matter.
Are not nano-coated.
It's not matter. Is a field. Is a polarity. In this case.
Polarity.
Yes, I think is each for me each nano-coated wire is like a magnet. In my idea.
So you're putting nano-coated plates or wires next to each other?
No, this in the center. For me, this is a dielectric. Is a it's divided the polarity of this battery. Upper side is positive, the lower side is negative.
But what is the construction of it, Luca, as far as we're trying to establish what is it made out of? How is the copper
wire,
each one?
Everything is nano-coated, right, Luca?
Nano-coated wire, copper wire.
Okay, what is the wire in the diagram? Where is the wire?
It's the square
wire
tubing.
Is the upper side, and the cone inside. The cone is energy, symbolize energy, a flux of energy.
Okay.
But
so you have a plate and you assume the energy from the center.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. So in fact, there's nano layer next to nano layer.
I don't work on this project many times. I have a lot of pictures, but I worked more on the other project.
Okay, carry on. So what happens when you put this?
Uh, I want to know, is this schematic is correct? Then,
I
for
explained to you how correct you are and how correct you are not.
okay,
If you use different nano-coated materials
yes,
of a higher order and a lower order, let's say like a copper and something much heavier or something lighter,
okay,
then you create a gradient of the flow of plasmatic magnetic field,
okay,
and you can make it the shape of any battery you like. So in a way, what you need, this is part of the structure which Arman is carrying with himself to China to build the next generation of batteries, is that the current flow among different layers which you show is not constant. So some are up, some are down. So what you need is to add a source of storage that can dictate the control of the balance. In the sample we have here, we have a capacitor which stores. But if you store a small rechargeable battery at the bottom of this circle you created, you create yourself a lifelong battery supply. This is the actual structure which is released in a commercial level in the past couple of weeks in the United States. This is the backbone of the structure which Tesla Group has used to store battery. No, they've been reading the patents and they've been watching closely the operation of what we are teaching.
Aspetta, Liam,
This is the beauty of the open teaching. It's their knowledge, it's their right, but in so many ways they use the nano coating layers, because up to now you had to buy nanomaterial, you couldn't do it. Now that we have shown how easily you can make nanomaterials of the material itself, now different companies are coming as their, but they can't patent it because it's already in public. You understand? Okay. What Tesla has shown has no backbone as a patent, because it's part of the technology we've shown. Yeah? It's the same with the battery. They are using the knowledge which we freely open the patent, and we've been teaching about making of nanomaterials. They got their engineers to modify the system in a way now they don't need it. Because up to us releasing the production of nano coating with a caustic, it was not known. Now it's known. The companies who are in the energy industry have found a solution to the problem of a nanotechnology. In a coming time, you will see new communication systems using this kind of nano layers, as I explained. Because don't forget, we teach here common man, but the national organization, big organization like Tesla and the rest are watching to see what they can get. But they know if you open one of these batteries, you can put the design on the internet, because there is no patent rights. Because the process has been shown on the internet. This process is shared with more than 2 people without the confidentiality agreement. You understand? So the new battery, which we know Americans have sent us, have you seen the new battery? Open it up and see what's inside it. They use titanium nano coating layers. They use all sorts of nano coated, high level, low level, that it creates transfer of energy. When you have a CO2, for example, if you can make a copper oxide of CO2 layers, or you made the aluminum and then you make a heavier metal titanium, there is a flow of the fields the way we just had. So you create a current. So that's why Tesla opened their patents. And what they've shown as new energy storage is using this concept. But if you put a small battery, or a capacitor and connect most of these lines together, you have a power supply forever. This is what we say. You absorb more energy at night than daytime. And in the writing of the advertising of Tesla, they say you need more energy at night time than the daytime. So they use what we explained, and it is. And if you look at the design of the Keshe Foundation website years ago, I think I have a picture here I can show you, you will find out that the battery which has been offered, they can take the shape of any kind of battery. We already released this years ago. So, in fact, what we see, scientific organizations using the knowledge which is shared freely. If you go in some of the day and night batteries, and this day and night battery, which now they talk about, is the backbone. That's why Dirk Lorentzens and I, we set up the Keshe Powercell technologies to sell these cells. So what you see is the evolution of the technology which is released, and they're adding it, and it's beautiful to see the knowledge is shared so freely. I'll find it in the documents. You see this battery, we have shown it, the day and night battery. Actually, something here which I can show you, you can see on the internet. This picture is the picture measurement of a nano material taken in Belgium on an oscilloscope. A nano layer, a nano layer creates energy, and this is done by the Dirk Lorentzens and the guy who is another Belgian scientist, and wanted to see the absorption power of the nanomaterial. In totality, if you can connect these lines and add a small capacitor that it can take, because all the energies is not constant, absorption of the energies are not constant, this is a much opened, what do you call it, of the same picture. This is nearly 5-6 years old. It was taken on the coastline of Belgium by Dirk and another Belgian scientist who was actually in the same problem as me because he was touched by Hans Brackenier. They tried to steal his technology from him. What you see, we open it, the new battery which is being released is the opening of the key of the using nanomaterial coated the way we have shown. Or you can do dismantle or scrape it off. This is what you see in the picture of the new battery, that the shape of the battery can be anything you like, is what we've shown over, this is on the Keshe Foundation website, nearly 4 or 5 years. So we showed that the battery as a reactor can take a shape of anything you like, that you don't need to produce new structure for energy unit. So what you've seen in America just been released is the addition to the technology which has already been done, and we released it. Because nobody could understand how you could create a lasting energy system, how to store it. Now you understand that the nano layers have the capability of absorbing energy from the environment. So your battery is actually scrounging for whatever decay material is in the system to absorb, to feed it back. It's a recycling process. Otherwise the energy doesn't come from nowhere. Even part of the energy in nano layers comes from the decay of the copper inside itself. Because copper decays, we know, has a life expectancy of so many years, half-life. So the absorption is so perfect, yeah, that your actual container creates a gravitational magnetic field for the environmental energy. Is what they call environmental scavenging. So the new battery, we congratulate them. It's beautiful to see. The knowledge has been transferred fully. They put their scientists doing it the way we are developing the other sides. And as I said, now it's become collective, and we see the fruit of our work in commercialization by big industries. Open a Tesla battery. Open these new batteries and see what's inside. You will find it's nano layers and it's nanotechnology the way we released it. No more. And if you scrape it and convert your nano layers to a GANs, and then from a GANs into nanoparticles, the way we explained yesterday by adding like vinegar or whatever, now you can make ceramic composite of nanomaterials for the first time. This has a huge energy capacity. We are using this technology now in conjunction with Fukushima for absorption of huge energy on the reactors. Now you know what's happening in Japan. The conversion of the absorption of huge energy in reactor number 1 is part of the creation of the ceramic in this form but in a specific shape. It absorbs all the fields of radiation, so they can use the heat but no radiation, and Fukushima reactor 1 and 2 soon will be safeguarded this way. Tesla Group, if they use it, or the energy unit, you understand what's happening. You'll be shipping the goods, Marco. Now you understand where it goes. So this, what you explained, is something we know, as I said, till you don't touch, we don't explain. So if you can do layering, original of this, if you go back, it was shown by Pratt and Winz when they made the first one. Yeah? And the first knowledge seekers tried to copy it, but they didn't understand it. But one addition to your work, which you will understand, is if you scrape the bottom of your nano layers, you can get from your battery in connection in series or parallel AC and DC. You don't need inverters. Depends what you put pressure on, you absorb. But this is one thing that the Tesla guys have not understood, or the people who released the battery. They're still releasing it at 7.5 volt. So if you add, I think 3 layers gives you 2.8 volts. And if you add numbers, but when you make these at home to create a free energy battery for yourself, try to put a small rechargeable battery at the bottom. Because when you're not using it, the battery gets charged. By the time you drain it, the rest of the cells start asking for it. You can't just run a nano layer on its own, because extraction of the energy from the environment can be stored to the level you need. So you can make a small battery and put it in your laptop, and has energy to charge a laptop for 10 or 12 hours, whatever you need to use it. But while you're using your laptop, the nano layers are feeding and overcharging back again. So in fact, you can run a laptop for eternity. You never need to charge it. These batteries from the Keshe Foundation will be released, and that's why Arman is traveling to China this week to start the commercialization of it. But then you have an AC and a DC version of it, and it'll come through Sohail from the, what do you call it, Omega Quantum store. You will be able to buy it. We do not compete or try to go parallel with anybody. We just taught the technology. Now we put it in a process that from the incomes of it, the Keshe Foundation can benefit it to further the research. So now you understand what you showed, as the other colleague of ours showed us the other part of the understanding. These new batteries, there is a guy from London, if I'm correct, he has shown a working unit, and I've asked him to get in touch with Vince to show it. What he's done, he has put a LED light, and he has put the plate combination of nano layers and a battery. And because he doesn't understand, this is what we already have shown, he has called it a mirror unit, mirror energy. But in fact, what it does, the LED uses as much energy that by chance, with this unit, the plate absorbs enough energy to keep the battery charged, that the battery can keep the light going forever. But if you don't have the light, the battery is charged. So it has a life of, let's say, 4 or 5 hours. But in the process of 4 or 5 hours, when you're using the battery, the cells are already charging back from what they stored. Because don't forget, the layers of nano layers are already charged. They're waiting to release it somewhere. And when the demand comes, they release everything back into the battery, so batteries continuously have a charge. And then you find the cycle of the energy is not constant. It's like this. With a battery, you store whatever is needed. When it's in a down peak, there's nothing to be extracted from because there is no source of extraction. So you continuously charge your battery through nano layers. And now, as I said, thanks to Tesla and the other organization who released the battery, but they cannot show it, ask them to show you their patent. Ask them, can we see the patent for these batteries? You will find out it's unpatentable. If they've been given a patent, the patent is invalid. And they know it, and that's why Tesla opened their patents very recently after we released our patents, because now they know the game is open. You understand? So now I thank them. They have the research facilities to come out, but you will find the system works on nano layers, on the nano GaNs layers, which we have shown, and it works very easily. Because if you go a step further, you can fill up your little battery instead of nano layers with the GaNs of different strength, continuously create a motion of the, what do you call it, rotation of the field, and you still have the same. But you have to dictate the layering, and that's why Dr. Antonio is doing, we told him yesterday, he can increase his power. Now you understand. Good morning. Okay, carry on.
Well, I have a problem now because my father an accident by car. I'd like to.
Can I, Lucas, can I just ask you to stop 1 second? Vince, you have, I know you received the email from the guy, Nigerian guy, I think it's from London, who showed you or sent you the picture of his battery with the light. If we can show that in physicality, then it brings a lot of things in focus in regarding Lucas and other colleague. Do you have that email with a picture on it?
No, I don't know which email he would have sent it to, but I've checked and I
Pardon?
don't see any emails from him.
You know which one I'm talking about?
I think so, but I don't see anything.
Yeah,
Yet.
it's a LED. I think it's a green LED light with a nano layer in between and a battery on the end. And it's called Miller battery. I can't remember his name. Is Sohail online? Can we get Sohail? Because I sent a copy to Sohail. Sohail should have a copy of it. If Sohail is online on any of the lines, he can send you the copy, because it's important for us to see that we put the theory in the practicality by different people, knowledge seekers around the world. Because credit has to go to the people who do the job, and they can show the theory and the physicality of the practicality. Is Sohail online? I'll send the email to him with the picture, or you have it. If you can show it, it'll be fantastic.
I don't have the picture, and Sohail's not online. But if somebody else has the picture there that they could send to me real quick, then I could get it online.
If you don't have it, you receive the email, because I know it's CC'd to you. I received one copy and you received one copy. He's a very nice guy in London. Have you received it? No. You don't have it. It's a private email sent to Sohail, and he sent a copy to me. In any shape, we will. No. It's a private. He sent it to the foundation. I have it because it's in my package, and I know Vince has it because CC to him, and I sent a copy to Sohail too. Okay, we show this, and then you understand what you're talking in theory, how it works in practice. Pardon? You found it? if the word he's used in his email is mirror, if you look in your emails for a word mirror, it should come up. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'll send it. We can show it in the. Pardon? Okay, it's a LED light with a battery and a single connection line. So it's if you don't have it, if you have Sohail is usually on the line in the background. He has a copy of the email. We can show it. It's an attachment to the email, the picture. Okay, carry on.
Okay. The next thing is a reactor. Rick, you...
Can we see the picture? Marco? We can't see on the Skype we share. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, they control it. Okay, carry on.
Okay. Okay. When I come back to Trani, I'm here as in my idea is like this. In this picture, I'm starting to build, to drawing this reactor. Cercando di capire. I was trying to understand the dynamic of the field,
I showed you yesterday. I gave you yesterday.
How the form, the shape, the dynamic. Here, I'm showing the central dynamic of the yellow ring. Yellow ring it divide upper side and downside. It's like a pizza. It's impenetrable, and the magnetic side is external side in my vision. Okay, can you? In this picture, I show the yellow is the border of the.
Yeah. You'll see
Okay.
it too. This is on Facebook. It's public. Okay, put it on. That's what it is. We show it now.
Okay, this border is rotating. It's rotating. Rotating. He had a magnetical property like positive, negative, clocking wise, anti-clockwise. The next, please. The same things, but in a different shape, like a 45-degree inclination, but the same thing. Here, I show in the center a field rotating counter in opposite direction.
Two of your cores are doing clockwise, and one is doing. No, all three are clockwise.
All three are clockwise, and the center
And
is
then
anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise, the top reactor, you mean?
No, this is the center of this dielectric field.
You mean the free plasma?
Yeah. No, the more picture, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You understand? The tree
Yeah, yeah.
down side, it's rotating in a clockwise direction, but in the center there is a come si chiama? Spiral, a circle in anti-clock direction. The field I want to show here, the field because like equilibrium, playing equilibrium, these four rings can unite, can attract each other, if form a sphere. In my opinion, can be the free plasma. This in this configuration, the polarity is upside downside. You know, when he closed, it became inside outside. If you can show more picture, inside outside, more picture. No, this picture is inside outside configuration. It's not more upside downside. This is my understanding. Up down downside, upside downside. The more inside outside, and down free plasma formation. Okay. More.
Set it up on that camera that you can show.
The system become more equilibrated
Set the table.
in this phase and polarize. This is polarized. In the center, collect the energy of the upper side and the down side, collect and growing.
Armin, do it here. Do it here.
Growing. Yes, we have for, 2 rings of the border of the sphere, which help on the rotation of the plasma inside, and give more energy, more increasing. And in the center, the master plasma can formate.
That's okay. What Armin is going to show you, if we can, you have to change it. I think, Armin, you have to come a little bit further out, so we can see it. No, you have to come in this way, under the cover. Yeah. Okay, what we're going to show you, if we can do it. Are you there?
I don't see.
Okay, can you go share camera? Okay, you can go on. You got to share webcam on your computer. Yeah? Can you accept the picture? Hello?
Yes.
Okay,
now it
this
shows up.
is, Armin, I'll explain to you. This is, if you can see, can you move that box from the corner that we can explain? If what the layers you shown, this is what we have here in the lab, you have to go that way, that it can be seen. The picture. Do you see it? We're sharing a picture with you?
Yes, I can see it. I can see the yellow,
Can you?
yellow meter.
Voltmeter. Okay.
Maybe it's behind one of your other windows.
Okay. What do you see? Can you see it now?
Hang on
No.
till Vince finds that window. It should show up under.
Okay, you're good. So going back in what you were showing, and we spoke about the battery. This is a nano layer with copper coated, with a zinc inside, magnesium, sorry, in between, is connected to a capacitor you see at the end. This was built about 6-8 months ago. Yeah, it's whatever we keep, whatever we make, we always keep. And if you see, it's keeping a constant 0.036 volts in the capacitor in this structure. So what you see in the new batteries is this structure, but instead of the capacitor, they have placed it with a rechargeable battery, a small rechargeable condition battery. So if you add the number of these layers together in parallel series, you can go to make it 3-volt batteries, 9-volt batteries, or whatever you like. And this has been creating, producing, absorbing energy for 7-8 months sitting in the lab. Constant. It's a constant 0.6. So whatever they want, what you showed in your nano layers and what we've seen from, I think, Vince, if you check your line, Marco has sent you the link for the light too. It's the same principle. If you can load it up or put them next to each other, you see this is, yeah, there it is. It's a small energy rechargeable battery which is lighting the LED light, or you can use it for anything. And this is what the structure which is shown now by the new battery in US, and part of the absorption of the energy in a plasma condition in nano layers by Tesla. Now you see it. You said show us something you can feel yesterday. Now you see it. Now you can believe it works. So this is evolution in the energy production. So that's what I said. These companies like Tesla and the others cannot and should have not received the patent because it's really shared in technology freely. They should have shared it freely, but they have the right to commercialize it to the benefit of their own company. And in time, a more complicated structure of this will be shown and commercialized by the Omega, what do you call it, Quantum, the commercial side of the Keshe Foundation in lighter industry. And then when we go to the heavier side, we'll go to Mr. Hui and the other side of the Keshe Foundation industry in China. So we don't share till you are ready. Now they commercialize. We show how they've done it. I congratulate them, but this is what they've seen. They have the scientists they put behind it to commercialize it very fast. And they thought we are stupid, we don't know what to do. But now we wait till everybody does it now. You don't need, and the price of these batteries should not be much because it doesn't cost more than $2 or $3 to manufacture a proper one. And most of these should be carrying a microchip, or as we've seen in Elector years ago, if you go to Electro magazine, is that because of the natural process of absorption of the energy in nano layers, you do not need any control system, because by the law of the nature, the system takes what it needs and delivers at the point of demand what is needed to be delivered. You see there, we're restoring, stays, we can recharge it, but if you put a number on, while one is discharging, the other one is charging, so your battery constantly stays at full power. The drop in the voltage on the left-hand side on the voltmeter is because of the circuitry inside the system, inside the voltmeter. So it's draining it. But if you put in numbers, the same supply stays. And this is what is being commercialized now in the state, and you can do it yourself. As usual, we'll give you how to make the CO2 kit. If you don't like it, you can buy it from us, or now you can buy it from the others. But if anybody has a link to this company who's commercialized a battery, send them these pictures and presentations. So, and send one to the patent company, which has issued them a patent if they have. This has been on the market, it's been on the internet for over a year now, 8 months, 9 months, and is not patentable. Okay, carry on.
Okay.
Now you see the practicality in what you've shown in theory. We have it. So if you put these strings of what I call these nanolayers and codes in a 1 second, I'll find it for you. I can show it to you. If you just wait 1 second, I have different things to show you, then we understand. Then, if you understand how simple it is, you cut the size of this string, this size of this, and you place it in a battery like this, or you can make it to shape of any battery.
My screen is very...
So now...
We have a problem.
Yeah, you change it, you drain it. So now you can put in any shape or form, in circular or flat, and then you have your 3 volt or 9 volt battery. Because the size of the thickness of this wire is irrelevant. It's the absorption of the nanolayer and the potential difference between the layer, nanolayer, and or different layers of nanolayers of different materials dictates the energy production. So, as you've seen in the advertising of this new battery, they can make it in any shape. Now you know how. What do you mean 8? It's 0.833, not point. The 8. The center line is down, so this is 0.833. Do we have another voltmeter? We are supposed to be... Can you get hold of one in the lab? It's broken because we'll be making a mistake. As I explained, we keep on touching DC and AC and we destroy our units. So, in fact, what you see according to Marco is 0.833, which is just under 1 volt. And that's what I said in there on the board. 3 of them gives about 2.8 volts. So if you add the number of this lining, so that number is 0.8. This is embarrassing. Can you get a proper voltmeter somewhere? Which one is broken? They are not broken, it's just that they don't read it proper. Can you get another one? Just test. We have in the box about 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, it's in the box. Just check. In any case, we can show we can afford, I think we can afford to buy a new meter for a day till we ruin it. So we will show this one again that is 0.833 as Marco says, because he knows the voltmeter. He's destroyed it, that's why he knows it. So that's why, as I said, 3 of them gives 2.8, because I've done this years ago, I know it by heart. So you see the structure, and you see the application and the implication of it. So if you do those in a specific layers or use nanolayers next to nanolayers, as Luca said, you can store huge amounts of energy into a battery. These batteries which they are selling, or the storage unit, has a rechargeable battery at the bottom. Tesla has made a small fault because they have connected it to a solar cell to store the energy in nanolayers. In fact, you don't need solar cells. There's an easier way to do it. And if they get in touch with us, we show them how to do it. I congratulate them for translation of the technology, but they need a little bit more, they can do it. And in the coming time, we have an Italian plumber, if I'm correct, who's built up a system. He's going to be here in the next few weeks. We've seen his system, he's got to assemble it. And then we show the dynamic energy, what we saw the energy units with the flight system combined. So you will see the new version of the what we call the Italian energy flight system. He said he's coming here in June. He's coming here in June. Then he will explain it to you himself. So you see the application of the technology. Lucas and the other gentleman explained to us the theory of it. We have explained of it for a long time. Now you see the practicality of it. It's not just us who's done it. Other people on the internet. The picture you see on the right-hand side was downloaded from the Facebook. Am I right? Facebook on the internet. And now you see the parallel next to it. The only thing which you have to consider is the current flow in the plasma from one element to another. Then that dictates the power of your system. If you use matter and a plasma state GANs, you will have a different condition. If you fill up this container with the GANs as much as with the nanolayers and the metal, you will get a totally different proposition. So the next step is to mix the GANs, the matter, and the nanolayers together, and you see what you're going to reach. You won't get a short circuit, that's for sure. No, you don't get a short circuit. You get the rapid transfer of energy. Because you have to realize that as much as the nanolayers absorb energy from the environment, because of the superconductivity of the GANs, the energy transfer is instantaneous. No heat. No, because there is no motion. It's a field flow. So you can download up to megawatts and kilowatts if you get the right composition from a small battery. But you download in a plasmatic level. But if you're going to the bottom of the scale, if you're happy with the crumbs, you work with the volts and millivolts. That's what the system will give you. But if you understand the potential of the battery, the structure of the nanomaterials in conjunction with the motion of the GANs, then you have a super conductor battery, which not only continuously absorbs energy and transfers, because of the dynamism of the plasma, it creates a field flow around the battery, so everything gets absorbed. So it depends what you want. The sphere of the plasma increases. You understand? That's why there are superpowers. It's not just a theory. It's because you create a nanolayers of different structures. Now you're absorbing whatever comes in. You sink it in the GANs material of the right order. The GANs material is superconductor, so it gets the magnetic field flowing, and then you create an environment around it. It's literally you create the favorite word of Stephen Hawking, a black hole of energy. Everything comes in. But that's all it is to do. I think you can go to the ceramic or a dynamic GANs state, and then you absorb huge energy. These power cell units can produce in kilowatts. No? Maybe in the storage we have, because we haven't opened all our equipment which came from the Sensano. Other voltmeters are in the other packages. So we can afford to buy one. Maybe this afternoon we'll show it. Do we have enough money to buy a voltmeter somewhere? To buy a voltmeter. So we'll show it this afternoon. Carry on, Lucas.
Thank you for each way your explication is very enlightening, you know. And are things for me important to achieve for all of us, because life is this. We must to help each other.
I hope we feel the same when we have to leave this planet as well. See which one of us will be courageous to put the other one on board first. or we would like to be the first one to see. We are not far from it. We are very close to this, to the point. Carry on. We listen.
Rick's showing the video of the battery. The copper. I'm putting the nano coating and rasp two sides. This is the copper nano coating. I'm starting putting field, you know, for visualize. I'm building my system. Can you show that? Can you see the video?
Yes, we are watching it. I understand. This is how your nano layer works anyway.
Okay. And I'm building my system, you know, and I want to show my vision. It's interesting. Yes. Wait. Here I show the central part of when the different polarity came together, and this provoke a repulsion in the dielectric field.
You don't create a repulsion because you have created a dynamic structure. What energy comes in has to go out.
Yes.
So you create a plasmatic magnetic gravitational field flow. Plasma systems, especially nanosystems, are totally dynamic.
Yes.
Part of this, what you're showing us, was built in a very primitive way with 3 capacitors by one of the knowledge seekers last year. But it was not understood because the target of the man was to kill, not to serve. And he disappeared. But part of the structure is still there. We'll show it in the future. The 3 large capacitors are there, continuously absorb. And somebody's asleep. Good morning. So the flow, if you can separate the flow, create a flow in a capacitor condition, is a dynamic because of the condition of the plasma of the GaNs. Carry on. I think if Rick goes through the archives, he can show those. It's like 10 or 12 bottles next to each other with a large capacitor at the top of it. Carry on.
And I put in this moment the cover with plastic. If I remember, the first is plastic, when aluminium, copper, nano coating.
Sorry, it's from us.
It's my microphone. The nano coating layer and copper, but this part I have to understand more. I have to work on it, because
no, you don't need to work on it. You're dead on. It's just connect your plates and then decide if you're connecting in a way of charging a battery in the order of the motion. One of the things you do if you put back your theory to practice, and a lot of you are going to try to make these batteries, is that when you are nano coating, bear in mind two things. I've explained this to the knowledge seekers a few times.
Direction.
Just make sure that your wires all cut in the same direction. So if you open it from a wire, always make sure that your wire is head to tail. And then when you are nano coating, place them in the same position. Don't forget your wires, if you've done any metallurgy, can we go on this screen? Yeah, okay, we go on this screen. I explained to you what your pitfall is going to be, that you don't make it. And then you don't get disappointed, it doesn't work. This is one of the points of the commercialization, or when you want to use it in the practice in what you showed. When you get a piece of wire to make these nano layers, cut the wire in orderly manner, end to end. Remember which end is which end. So you don't put this end with the other one. So when you cut it this way. 1, 1, 1. And then when you are nano coating, when you put it in the pot to nano coat, because at the time of extrusion, these layers on the end have different structure than the layers in the middle of the copper wire. If you've done any metallurgy, you understand what it means, because the wire is made by extrusion. So on the surface, because it touches the cold to rapidly cool down the metal when it's extruded in most of the cases, even though it's still copper, it's a slightly different structure. When you come to nano coat, when you put number A here, and number B here, and number C here, make sure that all the ones sit on the top. This is very important, because when you come to make your energy unit, if this too happens in your pack to appear like this 1, 2, 1, then you find out you have a zero energy flow. This is absolutely vital. This is why some of you make system works and some of you make system it doesn't work. Because it's a little bit between the chicken, what I learned from a guy in Romania years ago. This is the same sandwich. One is called chicken sandwich and one is chicken shit, because one you cannot use it. So what you got to do is, when you make these systems, set in your mind an order, and that order has to be followed. Because now the material here is nano coated different if you change it. So you mark, you cut, you nano coat, you connect in the same direction of the flow. Then when you make your plates, all the flows are in one direction. You don't have an interaction. And then zero power, because you get a traffic jam. This is one of the things you have to watch when you commercialize. It's not a polarization. In plasma, we look at the flow of the plasma. Yeah? And the flow of plasma creates this condition. So when you're making nano layers, you have to follow systematic flow. Yeah? Even when you make it with a GANs, you have to make sure your GANs is of the same copper. It gives you a better advantage. So what you do, you can drain from 2. This is one of the tests which we are doing in the lab with almonds, with a little reactor. But that's to show the flow. But when you're making these batteries, please remember this, and this is important. And then the other thing which you do, when you take the plate out, make sure you still wash them in the same procedure. Do not use your fingers to touch them, because then you block the holes of the absorption of the energy. And then what you do, if you're very, very, very clever, you make your connections with the nano copper wires between the plates. then you transfer only DC. If you don't do and you cut it, then you transfer DC-AC and you see the system doesn't work. It's just that we all make the same food, but one is tastier than the other one because one follows the rules. And this is one of the rules of making these kind of energy systems. Understand the totality. Even when you're making, you have to wash the plate in the same direction that you take the caustic out, because if you leave the caustic on, two things will happen. When you put your plates together, the nanolayer and non-nanolayer, then the effect of the micro pieces of caustic will start eating to this. Now you create a short circuit. This is what you call a MS battery. It gets multiple sclerosis disease. So you get a short circuit. Wash these in the same manner. In the pot, in the same direction, flow in and out. When you put a wire in between it, when you're making the nanowire and the connection or the plate, make sure the plate, which is non-coated, is again cut in the same sequence. You get a better result. So you strip, you cut, you strip, you cut, you strip, you cut, and then the same direction goes in. You make one single mistake, you'll have a problem. And they say, it doesn't work. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You didn't follow the rules. Okay, carry on. Now we become industrial teachers as well as teaching theory, huh? It's bad. We'll be out of business very soon, huh? Yeah, enough. This is nothing. We are showing you 8 months technology, actually 6 years technology now that is there. So now this is not new. They commercialized it. You brought the topic up, and it's strange enough you're talking about the thing when it's this week has the technology been shown in commercial direction. So this is not coincidence. It's this level of the soul of the man all working together. So one shows the end, one shows the theory, and one shows how it's done. Carry on.
Yes. I have a problem now because my son tell me my father have a problem in the street, you know, with the car. I think I have to go now, you know, for keep my father. È così?
Yes, because his father had an accident, and we must help him.
Dite niente di grave, ma
Nothing. He's not in danger, but we're.
Luca, you're in Italy.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much for sharing your knowledge even in the troubled time.
Yeah, I see the next.
Ask the core team. Ask for the core team for a help, and they'll be there. So that's why you have the core team in the background.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, what's the time?
Thank you,
have
Luca.
time? Nine. Oh, it's okay. We can always stop.
Rick,
You want a longer lunch?
background music going on there?
Is there's somebody playing music in the background?
Rick, you have some background music playing in there?
Okay, is there something else to share knowledge, or do we stop? It's about 3 hours, so I think we stop.
Okay, that's good for me. Rick, are you able to talk now?
Are there any questions? Because I think Marco wants to ask a question. Are there any questions we can answer quick?
You're unmuted, Rick, too.
Okay, would you like to put it on the screen? We see. Control mission at Vancouver.
Rick, you can talk. You're unmuted.
I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to do here?
No, it's all right.
Go
We
to
were just,
sleep. I
we
think
weren't
you've been
sure.
awake too long.
No, I'm not sure whether to ask one of the questions or what you want me to do here.
What are these links? Emmanuel Whitley. He's
Yeah.
put a lot of links, numbers on. What are these about?
That's for the battery we were talking about with Alex.
Ah, okay, you mean the batteries.
Yeah, I guess we're past that one now. Manuel did ask a couple of questions for Luca, but that's passed now too.
Luca had
I
to
asked
go.
them to ask those
Yeah,
questions
somebody
in the
asked the
plasma
question,
group.
where is the hanging bottle? He's not here. I think he's got to get in touch with Wins to arrange a time next workshop. Oh.
There are some questions on the live stream. Can they read them?
They said there's some questions on the live stream. Do you want to read it?
Rick, do you see the questions on the live stream?
It says, I have copper plates and I do not know how they were cut out. Can heating the metal make them the same direction? Not really. This is part of the extrusion which happens at the process. This is by experience. Some people do and we don't get energy, some we get the same. But the optimum energy, this is what I have found out over years making these things. And please do use a glove. Don't use a free hand when you're touching the materials and even nanomaterial. Are there any other questions or shall we go to sleep for lunch? It's siesta time.
Yeah, I think it's time for lunch.
Time for lunch. Okay, you go for dinner and we go for lunch. Thank you very much, Quebec. We'll meet at 2 o'clock our time for the workshop in the afternoon.
Okay, that'll
with
be
you?
in about an hour. Is that right?
It's about 2 hours, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
okay.
about 12 o'clock.
Okay, good.
Hours. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Rick. Thank you, Vince.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much for everything.
Okay.
Okay, we meet in 2 hours. Thank you indeed. Bye-bye.
Okay, so ends the 60th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute at the Spaceship Institute. And thank you everybody for attending.